There's something interesting about genuine love. Most people think they'll recognize it immediately, like it'll arrive with certainty. No confusion, no questions, no wondering where you stand. But real life usually doesn't work like that, because love rarely reveals itself through one big moment. It shows up in patterns, small things that happen over and over again, things that don't seem important when they happen, until one day you realize they couldn't have happened by accident. And the strange part is, the strongest signs usually aren't the romantic ones. They're the everyday ones, the things someone keeps doing when nobody's paying attention. So let's talk about them. The quiet things women tend to do when they genuinely love the man they're with. Number 1. You're the first person she wants to tell things to. Something funny happens, something frustrating happens, something exciting happens, something completely unimportant happens, and somehow you hear about it. Not because she needs advice, not because she needs help. She simply wants to share it with you. And after a while, you start noticing something. You're not just hearing about the big moments, you're hearing about all the little ones too. And that's important, because when someone consistently thinks, I should tell him this, what they're really saying is, you're part of my everyday life. And that's a much deeper form of connection than most people realize. Number 2, she notices something is wrong before you say it. You tell everyone you're fine. Maybe you're not even trying to hide anything. You just haven't talked about it yet. But somehow, she notices. The shorter responses, the quieter mood, the slight change in your energy, things most people would completely miss. And sometimes she'll ask what's wrong before you've even fully processed it yourself. Not because she's reading your mind, because she's paying attention. And people don't pay attention like that to someone they feel indifferent about. Number 3, she remembers things you forgot telling her. This one catches people by surprise because the details seemed insignificant. You mentioned an interview weeks ago, a stressful meeting, a goal you were working toward, something you wanted to do someday. Then weeks later, she asks about it. And for a second, you're caught off guard because you barely remembered mentioning it yourself. But she remembered. And that's usually how attention works. People remember what matters to them. And when someone consistently remembers the small things, it's often because you matter more than you realize. Number 4, she remembers what matters to you even when it doesn't matter to her. This is different from simply remembering facts. It's remembering significance. She doesn't watch the game with you, she never has, but she still asks how it went and remembers the name of the player you mentioned once. Maybe it's a project you've been working on, a hobby she has no personal interest in, a challenge you're trying to overcome. She may have no connection to any of it, yet somehow she still asks, still follows up, still remembers. That's not memory, that's love paying attention. Because when someone genuinely loves you, the things that matter to you start mattering to them too. Not because they have to, because they care about the person attached to those things. Number 5, she looks for your reaction first. This one is easy to miss. Something funny happens. Someone says something surprising. Good news arrives. Bad news arrives. And almost automatically, she looks at you. Not consciously, not dramatically, just instinctively, as if your reaction matters, as if part of her experience isn't complete until she sees yours. And once you notice it, you start seeing it everywhere. Because when someone becomes emotionally important to us, we naturally start checking for them without even realizing we're doing it. Number 6, she protects your reputation when you're not around. Anybody can be respectful face to face. The real test is what happens when you're absent, when friends are talking, when family asks questions, when there's an opportunity to criticize you or expose something private. A woman who genuinely loves you carries your name carefully.
She doesn't turn your weaknesses into stories. She doesn't share things that were trusted to her. She doesn't use your private moments for entertainment. Because real respect doesn't disappear when the person leaves the room. That's when it matters most. Number 7. She enjoys being around you when nothing special is happening. This might be the biggest sign of all, because attraction loves excitement. Love is comfortable with ordinary. There's no date night, no celebration, no special occasion. You're grocery shopping, watching TV, driving somewhere, doing chores, sitting in the same room doing completely different things, and somehow she still enjoys it. Not because of the activity, because of your presence. And that's easy to overlook until you realize how rare it is to find someone who doesn't constantly need excitement to enjoy being with you. Someone who genuinely likes the ordinary moments too, because that's where most of life actually happens. And here is what makes all of this interesting. A lot of people think they'll recognize genuine love when it happens, but most of the time they don't, because when you're inside it, it just feels normal. You get used to it. The check-ins, the random messages, the way someone remembers things you forgot you even told them, the way they notice when you're off before anybody else does. You stop seeing those things as signs. They just become part of everyday life. And then, sometimes, much later, you look back, and it hits you. How much care was actually there? How many small things someone was doing without you even realizing it? Because love rarely feels big when it's happening. Most of the time, it feels ordinary. That's why people overlook it. They're waiting for something dramatic. Meanwhile, the real thing is sitting inside the small moments. A question, a conversation, a detail remembered weeks later. Someone paying attention when they didn't have to. And when you think about the people who genuinely cared about you, that's usually what stands out. Not the big speeches, not the promises, the small things. The things that only looked normal until they weren't there anymore. So let me ask you, what's one small thing someone did that made you realize they actually cared about you?